What's going on? You're watching NFL Daily, and I'm your host, Mitchell Renz. I'm going to break down the top 5 teams that could sign Kareem Hunt. So let's start about Kareem Hunt a little bit here and what's going on with this dude. Well, Schefter came out and he said that multiple teams have expressed interest in Hunt, and now it appears that the former Chiefs running back will have a job sooner rather than later. And Hunt faces a potential discipline as the league continues to investigate what went down before with a video that came out with him and a woman. The Chiefs released Hunt on November 30th after the video had surfaced, and now he's on the commissioner's exempt list. So, if Kareem Hunt does end up coming back, there's going to be plenty of teams that are going to be looking for his services, and it's pretty easy to understand why. When you see what Kareem Hunt did in 2018 before the Chiefs released him, I mean, the dude had 181 carries, 824 yards, 7 touchdowns, and the average 4.6 yards per carry. But wait, he can also catch the ball. He saw 35 targets, 26 receptions, 378 receiving yards, and another 7 receiving touchdowns. And at times when I watch him play, I forget that he's only been in the league for 2 years because he runs and catches the ball like a veteran back. And when you look at his first 27 games, 453 carries, 2,151 yards, 15 rushing touchdowns, 4.7 yards per carry. And then as a receiver, I mean, it's pretty incredible. When you throw this guy the ball, he's going to bring it in. 78 catches on 98 targets. That's special. 833 receiving yards and 10 receiving touchdowns. When I look at Kareem Hunt, I think he's a really solid running back. And I think people understand how talented he actually is. So one of the things that I really wanted to do when illustrating Kareem Hunt's talent is I think it's important when you compare players, because I think the 2 best running backs in the NFL right now are Ezekiel Elliott and Todd Gurley. So what I wanted to do is compare Kareem Hunt's first 27 games, because that's how many he's played, to Zeke's first 27 games. Sure, Zeke has more carries, but in terms of rushing yards to carries, you know, Kareem Hunt has better yards per carry. Receptions, Kareem Hunt has more receptions than Zeke. Receiving yards, Kareem Hunt more receiving yards than Zeke. Total touchdowns, 25 to 27. Now, I think Zeke's had an unbelievable career, especially, you know, when you come out and basically rush for 1,600 yards as a rookie. But let's not forget, Kareem Hunt rushed for 1,327 yards his rookie season as well. But now let's compare him to Todd Gurley's first 27 games. And carries, yeah, basically the same. But rushing yards, Kareem Hunt has basically 300 more, has more receptions, has almost double the amount of receiving yards, and has 10 more total touchdowns than Todd Gurley. Now, Todd Gurley, I think, had a really solid rookie year, and sure, Gurley's sophomore season, I think you could point the finger at a little bit of a Jeff Fisher issue. However, Todd Gurley's super talented, and Kareem Hunt, I think we've only seen the surface of his talent. So, I have a question for you. Would you want your favorite team to sign Kareem Hunt? I want you to type Y for yes or type N for no. If you're watching this on Facebook, if you're watching this on YouTube, type Y for yes, N for no. And if you want to know what I think, hit me up on IG or Twitter at MitchellRenz365. If you want to bet on the Super Bowl, there's one place to do it. It's at chatsports.com/bet. And use our promo code LIVE120 for 120% deposit bonus. When you sign up and deposit using MasterCard or Bitcoin, we're going to hook you up with a free NFL jersey. And by the way, if you sign up and use Bitcoin, you're actually going to get 150% deposit bonus. So if you put down $100, you're going to get $150 for free. So shout out to BetDSI for hooking up Chat Sports with the best promo code on the internet. Now I'm going to get into my top 5 teams that could sign Kareem Hunt this upcoming offseason. Number 5, the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Eagles are, I think you could consider them a sister team of sorts to the Chiefs, captained by former assistant to Andy Reid, Doug Peterson, that is. So the Eagles running backs as it stands, they got Josh Adams, Wendell Smallwood, Corey Clement, and Boston Scott. Not too good. And if I'm the Eagles, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say, hey, we need a running back, and we have an amazing offensive line when fully healthy, and I would say that to Kareem Hunt. Be like, hey, man, you want to see what you can do behind a great offensive line, behind Carson Wentz, who was an MVP candidate before he was hurt in 2017. I think the Eagles have some selling points. They just won the Super Bowl just last year, and they had a pretty good year this year. When you look at the Eagles' depth chart, I have Jay Ajayi there as the RB1, but he's going to be a free agent. Darren Sproles, also set to be a free agent. And then Josh Adams, who is going to be entering his sophomore season. And I think Josh Adams looked pretty solid in terms of just overall production. However, I still would much rather have Kareem Hunt than all three of those running backs because personally, Sproles I think will come back. J.J. I think they test, and if he does come back, it's going to be on a really short leash. When you look at what the Eagles ranked last season in terms of rushing, they were okay, right? I mean, 20th in carries, rush yards per game 28th, rushing touchdowns 20th, but 16th in fumbles, so middle of the pack. Kareem Hunt has only fumbled once, and it was actually on his very first carry. I remember tweeting because I told everybody to sit Kareem Hunt in fantasy football that Kareem Hunt's going to be a bust in this game. And man, was I super, super wrong. So in life, sometimes you need a second chance. And I want to know from you, should Kareem Hunt get a second chance? If you're watching on Facebook, give me a like for yes or an angry face for no. Should Kareem Hunt get a second chance in the NFL? The next team on my list here is the Houston Texans. And I think this one makes some sense in the term because I've watched Lamar Miller now. I've watched Lamar Miller's yards per carry go down basically the last 5 years, and I'm sick and tired of watching Lamar Miller plod up the middle of this Houston Texans offense. Also, I'm not 100% sure that I can trust D'Onta Foreman to come back from an Achilles injury. I liked Foreman a lot when he first came out of Texas, and he looked really solid running the football as a rookie. However, dude's dealing with an Achilles injury, and I can't imagine he's going to be as good as after the injury. So here's the other thing. I love Deshaun Watson, and I love DeAndre Hopkins, and I think that offense just needs one more piece. You add Kareem Hunt to the Texans offense, Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, Kareem Hunt, to me that becomes the best trio in the NFL with all those positions. Lamar Miller, let's get rid of him. I'm just sick and tired of watching Lamar Miller. I don't think he's all that great. D'Onta Foreman, he's okay, but still, he's been battling some injuries. And then Alfred Blue there, he's going to be a free agent. And Alfred Blue is just, let's be real, he's about as mediocre as it gets. When you look at how the Texans ranked in terms of rushing last season, 4th most carries. The Texans continue to run the ball a good amount, and if you can have Kareem Hunt back there, hey, he's going to be able to pick up some yards. Rush yards per game, 8th. Rushing touchdowns, 22nd. Kareem Hunt can find the end zone. He's shown it. It's why he's got 25 total touchdowns in his career. 6th in fumbles. They need to find a running back who can hang on to the football, okay? Need to be able to hang on to the football. And if Kareem Hunt comes over, I think he could be a top 5 running back in real life and in fantasy football. But I want to know from you right now, Kareem Hunt, is he a top 5 running back in the NFL? If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on Facebook, I want you to type 1 for yes or type 2 for no. Is Kareem Hunt a top 5 running back in the NFL? The top place to get your shirts, it's Mizzen and Maine. Go to www.comfortable.af to see for yourself. These shirts are the best damn dress shirts you'll ever buy. They're made in America, and the website checks out because these shirts are indeed comfortable as F. Number 3 team here on my list that could sign Kareem Hunt, it's the New York Jets. And the Jets all offseason have expressed interest in Le'Veon Bell. And I understand that they want a running back, and they probably want a running back to take a little bit of the pressure off of Sam Darnold's shoulders. Because, let's be real, Darnold, I think, came out okay in that first game against the Lions, but then kind of dealt with some rookie woes. And I think an easy way to take some pressure off Darnold is to get a really solid running game. And let's say the Jets, who have a lot of money, miss on Le'Veon Bell. Maybe their plan B option is Kareem Hunt. I'm just saying. When you look at the Jets' depth chart, it's a bunch of Isaiah Crowell, who I think is just kind of a mediocre running back. Elijah McGuire. I've watched him plenty, and I'm just not all that impressed. And then Cannon there is the RB3. The Jets definitely could use Kareem Hunt in that backfield. He'd be by far the best one out of them all. When I look at what the Jets have had the last 5 seasons, it's been okay, right? Crowell was the leading rusher this past year with 685. And then Bilal Powell was 772. Matt Forte, 813 yards in 2016. Chris Ivory, the only running back on that list with over 1,000, who had a pretty good year, but then he went away. And then Chris Ivory again in 2014. Kareem Hunt, I understand the Jets are painful to watch sometimes, but I think Kareem Hunt's a 1,000-yard rusher on just about any team that he goes to. So how did the Jets stack up last season against all NFL teams in terms of rushing? Middle of the pack in terms of carries, rush yards per game, bottom, 26th, rushing touchdowns, 23rd, fumbles. A lot of fumbles there for the Jets. They need to be able to find a running back who can hold on to the football. And like I said before, Kareem Hunt, 1 fumble. 1 fumble in 27 games, and it came on his very first carry. So I got a question. If Kareem Hunt does end up going to the Jets, there's going to be 2 running backs who are really freaking good in New York. Who's the better one? Type H for Hunt or type B for Barkley? Who's the better running back? Hunt or Barkley? If you want to know what I think, hit me up on Twitter or hit me up on IG at MitchellRenz365. The number 2 team on my list here is the Chicago Bears. And out of all the teams that are going to be on this list, the Bears are actually the only team that has already come out and stated that they would actually consider signing Hunt. And anytime a team already comes out and says it, I think that's a big thing. And I think the reason why they've come out and stated it is because let's remember that Matt Nagy, head coach of the Bears right now, coached Kareem Hunt in 2017. And Matt Nagy also came out and said that he spoke to Kareem Hunt after the incident because he just wanted to see how the dude was doing. And when I think about some times that I've gone through some rough issues, one person who has actually always contacted me is my old college coach. And I think coaches, a lot of times, they mold these young players into men. And I think Nagy realizes that, hey, he's still a kid. He's going through some tough issues, and I think he's going to help him work through it. But this fit with Nagy would be interesting because when he was with the Chiefs in 2017, Kareem Hunt was really good. Like 272 carries, 1,327 yards, the most in the NFL, may I add, 8 touchdowns, and he averaged 4.9 yards per carry. And then out of the receiving end, 53 receptions on 63 targets. That's being efficient. 455 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. Now here's the issue. The Bears running back depth chart, they have by far the best one that you're going to see out of all the teams I mentioned. Jordan Howard, sure, he had a down year, but Jordan Howard, out of 3 seasons, has had 2 1,000-yard rushing years, and then they also have this other guy named Tariq Cohen, who they literally call the human joystick because the dude is really talented. He can catch the ball. Jordan Howard's the rusher between the tackles. Tariq Cohen's the guy who catches the ball, and Benny Cunningham's just kind of like, If for anything, there should be 2.5 men, not just 3 on this screen. When I look at the rushing ranks here in 2018, they carried the ball 6th most. Rush yards per game, 11th. Rushing touchdowns, 7th. Fumbles, though, was the one issue that they had holding onto the ball. Not so much Howard. It was more to do with Tariq Cohen. But still, I guess if there's an area that they can improve on, it's fumbles. It's just Jordan Howard, Tariq Cohen, and Kareem Hunt. Man, that is a 3-headed backfield that would just make almost any fantasy football player just about want to just go absolutely insane. So I've listed a few running backs who I said before earlier in the show. So I want to know from you, who's the best running back in the NFL? You're starting a team today. The minute you watch this video, who's the running back you're going to call up no matter what they're going to ask for in money? Who's the best running back in the NFL? I want you to comment below on YouTube, on Facebook. If you want to know who I think is the best running back in the NFL, hit me up at MitchellRenz365. The best place to bet on sports? It's at BetDSI. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Remember to use our promo code LIVE120 for 120% deposit bonus. When you sign up and deposit, not only are you going to get that promo code money, we're also going to hook you up with a free NFL jersey of your choice. And all you got to do is just DM us on Twitter at chatsports. And like I said, we're going to hook you up with that free NFL jersey. But wait, there's more. If you use Bitcoin, man, you're going to get that 150% deposit bonus. So if you put down $100, you get $150 for free. So BetDSI is hooking you up with a free NFL jersey, free cash. What more could you possibly want? Shout out to BetDSI for hooking up Chat Sports with the best promo code on the internet. My number 1 team for Kareem Hunt, it's the Oakland Raiders. And yes, I do run the Raiders Report show here, and yes, there's been a lot of rumors around Kareem Hunt going to the Raiders. Here's the thing, though. The Raiders are definitely known for giving players another chance, and I understand Mark Davis has kind of said in the past that he wouldn't really condone getting players who are involved with, domestic violence. However, they did give Martavis Bryant another chance. I understand it's not comparable. However, the Raiders are known for giving teams another chance. The other thing, Marshawn Lynch, free agent. Jalen Richard, free agent. Doug Martin, free agent. And can the Raiders trust Chris Warren? Now, I thought Chris Warren was great last year in the preseason. He had 292 rushing yards. He actually led all running backs in the preseason in rushing yards. But can you really trust a running back who's not carried the ball in the regular season? Shrug emoji. When you look at the Raiders' running back depth chart, Marshawn, free agent. Doug Martin, free agent. Jalen Richard, free agent. It's really hard to sit here and say the Raiders don't need a running back when your top 3 running backs are set to hit free agency. And let's be real, if the Raiders really want to flip the switch and flip it quickly, sometimes you just got to swallow a little bit of pride. And at the end of the day, if you think Kareem Hunt's going to help your team, that's who you're going to go out and try to get. The Raiders, in terms of rushing yards and ranks in 2018, carries 23rd. They couldn't really run the ball that much when you're losing. Rush yards per game, 25th. Rushing touchdowns, 27th. And fumbles. If there's one team who desperately, I think, needs a solid every down running back, man, I think it's the Oakland Raiders. So here are my top destinations for Kareem Hunt in 2019. It's the Philadelphia Eagles there at 5. It's the Houston Texans at 4. The New York Jets at number 3. The Chicago Bears, the only team on this list that has already come out and said that they would actually consider signing Kareem Hunt. And then at number 1, the Oakland Raiders. But this show isn't about me. It's not about me at all. It's about y'all. And what team is Kareem Hunt going to play for in 2019? I want you to comment below if you're watching on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, let me know. Where's Kareem Hunt going to play in 2019? If you want to know where I think he's going to play, hit me up on Twitter or IG at MitchellRenz365.